Welcome to Intuitive Seek. My name is Mary Train, and as an intuitive guide, energy healer, and meditation teacher, I aim to bring you a grounded approach to all things energy and intuition. Everything I share is with the hope to help you remember how your unique power of intuition is your own greatest teacher. Hello and welcome. Welcome to your Intuitive Week, your energy update for the week of July 27th. How are you? How are you feeling about this final week of July as we move into August? Before the meditation, I was wondering if this would be the energy update for August for the month, but my intuition said no, that will be next Monday on the 3rd, and that this week is very much its own energy, still in July. And even though Saturday is August 1st, we still have some big energy that is ushering us into the next month. So we also have a full moon in Aquarius on July 29th or 30th, depending where you live this week. And that is the last full moon before we move into eclipse season, which happens twice a year, but it can be such a potent time of sudden changes and unexpected events and fated change. And that can all sound very intense, but remember that this period of eclipses, it happens twice a year, lasts a little over a month, and it's a big part of our own personal cycle. It's something we're used to. And it can be a time where you can be very inspired by the energy. It's a great time to focus on your intuitive development and focus on your energetic boundaries and your hygiene, and a time to be extra, extra honest with yourself. A time to really anchor into self-trust and our inner knowing. A very creative time too. So it feels like this week is before all of that, before we dive into that intensity, but also diving into a time where we're very much used to the change and the movement, in a very creative time too. But that is in August, so we don't have to move right into that yet. And I'll share more about the themes of the full moon in Aquarius this week and how it can inspire us. But after everything that came through in the meditation for your week of July 27th. And I do still have one space remaining to begin the key in August. This is your 4-month journey, one-on-one, of healing and transformation. It's a time to truly come home to yourself and remember what you need to remember, not only your purpose, but the expression, the multiple facets of your personal, authentic expression, which is your purpose. It's healing, transformation, and deep connection. And every testimonial around it really does speak to that it is a life-changing soul work, but with practical and grounded results. And in the 4 months, we work together through my healing process that I call the key, which offers you a very grounded, transformative blend of modalities, but that are centered around intuitive guidance and energy healing, tailored to clear away energetic blocks and hurdles that brings you back to deep remembering and connection and clarity. So if you have been curious and you feel like August is a good time to begin, just think about what can change in 4 months by the end of November. Deep transformation, deep remembering. And you can go to the show notes with this episode, and all of the links that you need are there to connect with me to begin your journey and find that key within you that unlocks everything within you that you may have thought was outside of you, but it's waiting for you to find and remember. And that's what the journey can do. Okay, so now let's get into your intuitive week, your energy update for this week of July 27th. And I'll share what came through in the meditation And then I will share the animal that came through, and then some writing prompts, some journal prompts to help you dive even deeper into the energy and hopefully help you prepare for August, which I will share more about next week. And remember, the most important thing about these energy updates is to trust your own intuition. Use them as a way to develop your discernment and trusting what resonates, trusting what doesn't. Trust your interpretation. If mine isn't feeling quite right, but then you receive something else from it, trust that. Like, really utilize everything I share as a way for you to connect deeper to your own inner knowing. And this meditation for this week ahead, it wasn't full of a lot of different things. It was quite simple. It was a simple scene, but with some powerful symbolism. So trust what resonates, leave what doesn't, and here we go. So when I first opened up the meditation, this simple scene was us. And we, the figure in the meditation that represents you and I, we were sitting in the center of very tall grass. Tall grass that was super green, and we felt comfortable. It was even cozy. It felt protected. And there was a curiosity as well. There was also a lot of dew on the grass around us, so quite a bit of water around us and even under us, but it wasn't uncomfortable. We didn't feel cold or kind of too wet. Like, it was just cozy and fresh and healthy and comfortable, protected, and very, very green. And there was also this energy of contemplation. Like, the curiosity was us contemplating. It was quite a meditative feeling, almost like we were kind of recharging and renewing. Very grounded. We were literally on the ground. And it felt like this week we are getting grounded in new ways. Grounding within, but also grounding in connection to the earth, grounding our energy in a way that will allow us to feel comfortable, feel more protected, allow us to have more space for curiosity and contemplation. And the very green grass felt like a connection not only to the earth, but to our hearts, represented by the beautiful green, like our heart center. And that this week, we are being invited to sit with our hearts. The grass was so tall around us, and this felt like insight about the growth that we have experienced directly with our hearts. There was also a feeling of abundance, the bright green, the nourishment of the dew on the grass, that our hearts maybe are offering us a way to more abundance. And abundance, not only material, money, but in so many ways, opening up to the abundance of your life. Like, what is itching to grow? What room has been made? Listening to your heart, sitting with your heart this week. That's what it feels like we're being called to do. But also the emotional aspect. The dew, the water, representing our emotions. What emotions maybe have been sitting on our heart that we haven't opened up to feel yet or wanted to? What emotions need to flow? This week, it feels like we're being invited to connection and reconnection with our heart. Where is your heart guiding you? What is the wisdom that is coming from your heart? Maybe you're feeling called to connect to the gifts and wisdoms of your ancestors through your heart, to find connection there. The power of our heart is calling us this week. And what are you feeling called from your heart? If you're sitting with your heart, what happens? It feels like this week we have an invitation to make the space for it. So trust if you're feeling that, trust it and make the time. And then the next thing that came through in the meditation was a focus, like a zoom in on our middle finger on our right hand. Now, the right hand is a hand of action, of kind of giving, of offering, of intention. So the focus was on our middle finger. And this is the finger that is ruled by Saturn, representing our responsibility. Saturn connects to our work ethic, our action, our path of purpose, not allowing the winds of change to kind of sweep us away and take control over our life, but allowing them to actually bring us closer to what we need to do, what we need to commit to, what decisions are right for us. Not what we should be doing, but what we know we need to be doing. Connecting us to discipline and commitment and overcoming challenges. That's what the planet of Saturn can really represent. So it does feel like this week, sitting with our heart, finding more clarity within our heart, feeling emotions that have been sitting in there that we haven't had the time to sit with, that will offer us more clarity around where we might need a bit more discipline in our lives, where we might need to be taking more action, where we might need to be moving in a different way because maybe we've been in the way of taking these actions that we need to take. And then the animal came through and it landed on our middle finger on our right hand. And it was a dragonfly. A gorgeous dragonfly perched on our middle finger on our right hand, our hand of action, this Saturn energy from our middle finger, speaking to our action, our path of purpose, our discipline, our commitment, our ability to overcome challenges. And I love this because of the themes and symbolism that the dragonfly represents connects to this very beautifully. An incredible sign of what is opening up for us this week before we move into August. Now, as I share about the energy and the symbolism of the dragonfly, the themes, pay attention to how it connects to you in your life specifically. Where does your mind go with the certain themes that I'm sharing? And really trust that. Trust where you are feeling a connection to where the dragonfly is kind of highlighting or spotlighting something in your life that you need to pay attention to for this week. So the dragonfly represents the energy of change, transformation, the power of light, the soul mystery, adaptability, honesty, emotional depths, joyful spirit, creative expression, and ancestral wisdom. And I do have the dragonfly in my intuitive animal oracle, in my guided journal, and ... other things I'm working on. And the dragonfly is number 13, which is a number of transformation. It's the death card in tarot, deep transformation. And it's also a 4. 1 plus 3 is 4. And 4 is the foundation, the stable, sturdy building blocks of what you need. So to me, I just wanted to share that because it felt connected to this week that this animal, our intuitive animal this week, is coming through to share that any transformation, any big change in growth, any huge difference in where you are feeling led is part of the new foundation that you're building. And my intuitive animal of the dragonfly is called the dragonfly of breaking through resistance. And I'm going to share an excerpt from some of the insight about the dragonfly of breaking through resistance from my intuitive animal oracle. And it's amazing how much it connects to what I've already shared. And that's why I love doing these energy updates. So again, trust what resonates, leave the rest. This is a potent time in your life to bring new visions and desires for your future. You may feel some discomfort trying to make sense of how to get there. The discomfort can easily turn into resistance, a resistance that might feel stronger than your vision. Don't worry, you can break through. Any resistance or discomfort you feel is an invitation to bring yourself out of your mind and back into your body, helping you remember how to trust that the actions and directions you need are already available to you. Trusting your intuition and trusting the mystery to guide you. It's time to surrender, to trust that you are a moving piece of the mystery unfolding. Feeling the excitement in your heart of what things may come. Give your feelings a voice and honor what you hear. Honesty and trust will allow your inner light to move you through anything that is in your way. And I really feel like the dragonfly came through to remind us of what maybe has gotten in the way of your grounded magic this month. July is the month of grounded magic makes miracles. So what was in the way of your actions, in the way of you expressing yourself, in the way of you offering a voice to your unique abilities and point of view of your creativity? What was in the way of you sharing your heart, opening your heart? What was in the way of you taking those steps towards your dreams and desires? Was it something outside of you? Was it in you? Was it you? And why? This is the week to tend to the truth of why maybe you keep getting in your own way, why you keep blocking your next step. How can you show up differently next month? This is the week to let go and then reclaim your power by recommitting to yourself. And on Wednesday or Thursday of this week, depending on your time zone, we meet the energy of the full moon, of the Aquarius full moon. And astrologically, Aquarius inspires us and connects us to themes of belonging and freedom and innovation, the connection of the individual within the community, the humanitarian, deep authenticity. Now, Aquarius is also referred to as the water bearer. And water is an incredible conduit for energy, for giving and receiving. And also, as we know, and I've already said today, that we feel connected to our emotions through water. It represents and symbolizes our emotional landscape, our emotional energy. And remember, our emotions are our energy in motion. So this energy really supports us with the full moon this week in connecting with the depth of our emotional waters, connecting us to what emotions we carry that are ours and not ours, noticing, not sitting in them, but noticing what energy we are giving and what energy we are receiving through our emotions, being the observer of our feelings flowing. And maybe the feelings that are flowing connect to the themes of Aquarius, of belonging, of personal freedom, of connecting your individual self with the we, with the community. And full moons are a time that inspire us and can support us to release, to create the much needed room. So what are you carrying that are not for you to carry anymore? What do you need to release? What kind of room do you need to make? Being deeply honest with yourself, sitting with your heart this week will help you discover what needs to be released. Opening up that space for honesty is so important right now. And as we move into the energy of August, being more honest with yourself and others about who you are now, not before, not yesterday, but now, that will help you have the clarity you need for the month ahead. And a good question to ask is, if the past was a magnet, what parts of yourself would already be moving to the magnet of the past, already wanting to be let go? And all full moon energy is a time where we can really nourish and take care of ourselves. So, how can you support yourself this week? Is it sitting with your heart? How can you take care of your heart? How can you take care of your energy, your nervous system? Get grounded so that you can have the clarity of what needs to be released, so you can see what is in the way of your future. Take advantage of the energy this week. It will really help us as we move into August. And now let's get into some writing prompts, soul questions. And you can answer these in a journal. You can answer them in a voice note. You can just kind of ponder and talk to yourself about them on a walk. But really trust which one feels like, oh, that's what I need to focus on. That's a good one for this week. So the first one could be, where is your heart guiding you? What wisdom from your heart are you resisting? What's sitting on or in your heart that you haven't wanted to feel? Kind of a three-facet question for that one. And number 2, if the past was a magnet, what parts of yourself would already be moving and ready to be let go? And number 3, what personal resistance are you ready to break through? And number 4, this is for the full moon. What intentions, goals can you set for the full moon and commit to tending for the next month, but I would say for the next 6 months? Think of the themes of Aquarius that I shared and begin your intentions with, I am so grateful for finally releasing, and then write in what you're releasing so that you can, and then write in what you can do, create, or experience. What do you need to release? And then what do you want to do, create, and experience? And that brings us to the end of this episode of Intuitive Seek for the week of July 27th. I would love, as always, to hear from you if you have any thoughts or questions, anything you want to share, especially if you've been resonating with what I'm sharing, or if you have another interpretation. I love to hear from you. Everything you need is in the show notes, all of the links to connect with me, to apply for that one space left for the key in August. And if you haven't already, hugely appreciated if you subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcasts. And you could also share this episode with a friend, or if you haven't, you could leave a review. It is so helpful and really helps other people find this podcast as well. And I would really, really appreciate it. So thank you again. Be extra kind to yourself and others, and I will talk to you next week.
Hi, Auntie Mary. I just wanted to say something very, very meaningful. Cat.